guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Hola, bon dia, alegria, Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. And you'll see from the opening titles there that chestnuts were our Portuguese treat of the week. So it's great before the week is out. Oh, excellent. Well done, Filomena, that we'll be able to talk about chestnuts. We talked about the Citroën Ami, which is our car of the week. And we featured a lovely property up in the Minho from Antonio Barbosa, who, guess what? There's lots of lovely interweaving themes. He's in São Martinho for São Martinho, it would appear. Anyone want to meet up in São Martinho de Porto or close by on Sunday for lunch, as I will be in Lourinhã for the weekend, and it'll be a pleasure to meet fellow Gumpers. How about that? So if you want to meet up with Tony for a bit of Tony time, the man in the Minho that is the man in Martinho this Sunday or these next few days. So I can connect you with Tony. If you're a Portugal Club member, of course, you can DM him over there as well. He puts some great content into our Portugal Club, which you can join, gmpvip.com. The Portuguese point of interest this week is Fundão. So I may talk a little bit more about Fundão before the week's out. We had a lovely time there. And Filomena, I'm sure we'll have something to say about Fundão. Came close last night on the journey over up to the north, to the Serra da Estrela, so not too far away. We were near Covilhã over the last Monday of this week. And, of course, that's not too far from Fundão. I think she mentioned Manteigas last night as well. So we were over in that kind of ballpark at the beginning of the week. So let's see if we can bring Fundão into our conversation this morning as well. Just a couple more hellos before we bring Filomena on for some Filomena Friday. Oh, yes. It is that time of the month. So we talked to Filomena. She did a great job, by the way, last night on Expats Portugal, as ever, as you might expect, taking us to some beautiful places. Astrid said, can you choose 3 places? Can you imagine asking Filomena to choose her 3 favorite places in Portugal? She did. Okay, I'll give you 3 regions. I'm not giving you 3 places. I'll give you 3 areas. And that's how she approached it last night. Hola, bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta a todos. Como va a todos? From the old guy in Europe, who's episode 22. He's got a massive November for you. And I did suggest to Mrs. M that I grow a moustache for November. And she had a simple reply, no. So probably I won't then. Parabéns, James, on episode 22 from Coach Turner, who has a bom dia todos e feliz sexta off to Birmingham this afternoon, where Mrs. T's nephew is performing in an improv comedy show. Excellent. They've been at the Edinburgh Fringe a couple of times, so it should be fun. Oh, I love the sound of that. If you've got any video of them doing a bit of comedy, we could play that on Monday if they're up for it. Hola, bon dia then says... old guy to the coach, and yeah, Antonio's in the chat. The man in the Minho is in São Martinho, the man in Martinho. Bon dia, happy Friday, and an excelente weekend. Oh, thanks, Mrs. M. That's my phone. Sorry, I thought it was a coffee for a minute. Would you mind pouring that out for me and warming it up? Is that okay? I'm talking about coffee, of course, there. Sarah's in as well. Bon dia to you, Sarah Yeoman. Thank you for being here this morning. And bon dia, Portugal, from João Ernesto as well. Carl, the week is out today. What does that mean? And bon dia, Gumpers from Jackie as well. How are you doing, Jackie? You stayed up with us all night, didn't you, on Tuesday night? Carl, the week is out today. Did I... It's Friday. Yes, it is. I'm looking forward to a bit of a rest, I've got to say, popping up to Atelier de Dos, where I believe, now this might be controversial for Filomena, she'll tell me in just a moment, I'm sure. I think the best bourge de Berlin can be found at Atelier de Dos. When you next come to the area, Filomena, I'm taking you up there. If you haven't, let's ask her. Let's play our music and bring her onto the screen. Filomena Friday.
I need to learn the language to put me at ease.
Filomena Friday. Come on, sing along, folks.
Time learning Portuguese.
Filomena Friday.
I get confused nearly every day.
Ooh. Filomena Friday.
How do I know which verb is okay?
Filomena Friday.
Practice those words so loud and clear.
Filomena Friday.
On a Filomena Friday.
It's a day of cheer.
Filomena Friday.
Tripsforbrits@gmail.com.
Oh, yes, here she is. Come on.
Olá! Olá, bom dia!
Olá,
Bom dia a todos! E bom fim de semana também.
Igualmente, igualmente. We have seen a lot of each other in the last 12 hours or so. have we
Yes,
not?
we have.
That was great last night, by the way, Philomena. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And how cruel to ask you to pick 3 places. I see what you did.
Well,
3 areas, right?
3 places, it's almost impossible for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And even choosing 3 areas, we had a comment that I could speak about some other places, right? But I mean, I had to choose. I had to choose a few.
You did, and a great job. The north, which included Braga, Guimarães, and Viana do Castelo.
Yeah,
and then we went to Serra da
Serra
Estrela.
da Estrela.
Yeah, and the
Alentejo. From Ceia to Covilhã.
Yes. And Areolos, which
and Évora and Arraiolos, yes. Arraiolos,
got a bit embarrassing when the only reference points I had at one point were bottles of wine and names of wine. And Areolos, in case you don't know, that was probably the surprise, wasn't it, in the set yesterday? Areolos.
Yeah. And I left it to the end because I also thought that lots of you didn't know about Arraiolos.
Yes, true. So check that out. That will be released. I need to do the edit on that, and that will be released on the Expats Portugal channel on Sunday evening at 6 after Sally has worked her magic. Good morning to you, Sal. And they had a great Dream Team session last night. I closed with the cultural question. What did our panel think was better, paddle or pickle? Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, has invested big time in paddle here, the paddle sport. Have you played either of those, Filomena, paddle ball or pickleball?
No.
Okay, all right.
Not
yet. Very good answer. There was a suggestion that there might be a paddleball tournament at the Expats Portugal Classic.
Okay.
I think Sarah and Gilda were going to team up against Nuno and Daniel, which would be worth paying good money for to watch that match. I think very good. And any competitiveness between Gilda and Daniel is very interesting indeed. James, very pleased to see you. He loves
Olá, James. Olá.
Portuguese,
e parabéns, right? James, parabéns pelo excelente trabalho.
Sim, 22 episódios. I'm going to guess episódios as
episódios.
Yes. Sometimes it's worth just guessing and putting your best Portuguese accent on. So there, that worked that time. And of course, we're talking about the time of year. Any questions you've got about the Portuguese language and culture, that's what we do when Filomena's with us on the second Friday of the month. Anything at all to help you speak more Portuguese, to understand more Portuguese, and a special theme, right?
And answering your first question about Bolas de Berlim.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Agree?
I agree with you. 100%. The
excellent.
best Bolas de Berlim are from Atelier. That's right.
Wow. Okay. And you've been up there, have you? Clearly.
Yes,
or have you eaten? Because they send them all over the country, don't they?
Yes, I have bought them. I have bought them in Nazaré, for example. They have a little shed there.
Yes.
And also I've some friends. I've got some friends that once they brought from Atelier do Doce, so near Alcobaça, they brought me a box also. Yes, and yes, you can buy them everywhere, but they are the best.
Extraordinary. Yeah, Gilda's a big fan. Next time I come see you, I'll bring you a tray of them. And when you're next in this area, I'll take you up there. So I'm going there after the show today. Looking forward to that. Right. They may well have chestnuts and jerepiga because we are going to be talking about São Martinho, aren't we? The Magusto time of year. Look at this yes, let me just give you full screen. There you go. Jerepiga.
Yeah.
And,
castanhas e jerupiga. Jerupiga de Penela, in this case, it's jerupiga from Encosta da Criveira.
Excellent. Yes, I've been there. Yeah. What an amazing place. Yes.
Jerupiga from Encosta da Criveira. But, of course, on the 11th, on Monday, is St. Martin's Day, Dia de São Martinho. And so the tradition in Portugal is eating roasted chestnuts. These are not roasted yet. But, by the way, I would like to tell you how to roast
Yes.
the chestnuts, because when you
Yes.
buy a chestnut,
Personal safety.
when you buy a chestnut, you have to give a little bit of a cut here,
Yes.
right? So
Oh,
you
you've
cut
done them already. Very thoughtful. Okay.
Yes, yes. So you cut them, and then you can put them in a tray, something to go to the oven, and put some salt, just a little bit of salt
Salt.
on salt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can put some salt on them, and then put them for a few minutes in the oven. When you take them out of the oven, you better put them, if you have some clay like this,
Yes.
or at least put them in a pot, that, but with some fabric, some cloth that you have. You cover them and let them rest for a few minutes like that. So
Mhm.
you cover the chestnuts with a piece of cloth, cover them, and let them be rested for a few minutes, and then it's easier to peel. It's easier to
Okay.
peel.
Well, that
Okay.
takes some of the moisture out, makes them a bit more brittle, presumably.
Yeah,
to cook
it's
open.
easier to peel. And of course, you should drink some
Well,
jurupiga.
of course you should. Of course you should. And I
Yes.
do. I've a very kind supplier. I think it's the little. I'll come back to this, but there is a company that you might want to buy or support a local Portuguese business, a local as in a national one. And I've been talking to them
Yeah,
online.
this is local from me, right? So
Well,
this
it
is
is
from
absolutely,
Penella.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Penella, yes.
Yeah.
What? So, could you tell us a bit more about Jarapiga? It's made from the skins, isn't it? Is it like an early product from the wine harvest?
Yes, because it's the leftovers of the grapes, right?
Yep.
The
No waste.
how do you call it? Must? I don't know.
Oh, the
And
must. Yes, it is
yes,
the must. Yes.
and so you use that, and then you add a few more ingredients like aguardente and sugar, I guess. I don't know, but yes, it's what you do with the leftovers, let's say, of the grapes. Yeah.
And this is something you will observe yourself, is it, this time of the year? And the people of the town, perhaps? It's a public thing as well, as much as it is a domestic thing, right?
Yes, yes. We have Magusto, as you said.
Yes.
Magusto is always a huge bonfire, so outdoors, and people. There are lots of. I'm sure that this weekend, lots and lots of villages and towns and even cities, maybe, I don't know. But in villages and towns, at least, you can find huge bonfires. And it's not to celebrate Guy Fawkes.
No, just in case
It's
there's any
not
confusion.
bonfire night, no. But it's because of São Martinho. So people gather in the main square usually, or a public place that is usually meet-up point, and so they roast the chestnuts on the ground, so on in the bonfire, and of course they drink beer and wine and jerupiga. So we have fun and socialize. That's what we do the most. Socialize.
Any excuse, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, this is the company that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention this morning. This is the Little Cellar Wine Company. They don't have a retail yet, but I believe it's online and mail order. So I'll put the link to that. And they've got a little bit more to say about this particular festival. And that's a lovely illustration there, isn't it? Of the scene, the harvest. They're calling it a harvest celebration in Portugal, traditions, food, and jerupiga. I'm not sure, is that like a traditional and well-known artist? It could even be AI, that, couldn't it? It's got a little bit of an AI vibe
Could be.
about it.
I mean, the grapes are so lined up that I don't know.
They are. And they should be picked by now. So I think it is an idealistic scene, isn't it? Rather than a fact-checked one. Autumn in Portugal feels like magic. Magusto. The vineyards turn shades of golden red, and the air carries a hint of something special, something that promises warmth and joy for wine lovers and locals alike. This time of year signals the start of the grape harvest. It's already been going on, isn't it? It's more than a farming ritual. It's a celebration of culture, community, and tradition that's woven into the fabric of Portuguese life. And at the heart of it all, you'll often find a glass of Jarapiga. In the rolling hills of the Douro, Alentejo and beyond, friends and families gather to celebrate the year's bounty. So there you go.
Yeah.
Very important, the grape harvest, the Vindima, and to celebrate. I guess it's a time to give thanks, isn't it? Should there have been a bountiful harvest, and pray if there hasn't been, for better times next year. And, you know, I guess as we've become more industrialized and moved away from the countryside, it's really important that we keep that connection to what used to be in this way, I think, and to nature, and how dependent we still are, even if we don't think we are.
Yes.
On the
Of course, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olive trees with grapes on, nearly as important. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. Fair enough. An idealized portrait of Portuguese life there. Also, excellent coverage, by the way, from Portugal Decoded. If I might share that. And we've got some questions coming in for you, Filomena, of course.
Good.
James, top student James, often has a question for you of a vocabulary or grammatical kind. The Friday briefing is asking the question ready for Magusto there. It's really good, the Portugal Decoded, and thank you, Catherine, for bringing it to my attention this morning.
Yes,
hot and good, right? That's it. And they look really well done. They look like you could just look at them and they'd fall apart.
Mine are not hot yet, but they will.
They will. How long are you cooking yours for? Because a long, slow cook is better, isn't it, than a quick roast, I think.
Yeah, it's not for long. It's maybe what? I don't know. I just look at them, but maybe 15 minutes or so.
Is that right? Okay, so you do kind of flash roast them in your house, all right? And of course, it's the time of year where there'll be vendors on the streets selling these.
I had one the day before yesterday, passing my door here. And he comes now. He comes every Wednesday afternoon. He passes my door every Wednesday, and the 12 chestnuts cost €2. And they are already roasted and everything, and quentes e boas.
Well, that can't be bad, can it? That can't be bad at all. Very nice to celebrate this time.
And he told me, if any of them is not good, just let me know, because I'll be in the square. Let me know.
And you can exchange any bad ones. That's great, isn't it? He's probably frightened of having them thrown at him.
He's a very, very nice man, a very nice old chap.
Yes, fantastic. Okay, and that's what he did. I mean, there we go. There's a similar fella there.
That's
the
right.
Roaster. And this is such a good resource. So I'll put the link to that, and you can subscribe yourself to Portugal Decoded, and maybe even buy the author there a bag of chestnuts for his trouble. But look, St. Martin's festivity. That's a great big pan, isn't it? There. And is that perhaps the fire that you might be jumping over later, or throwing your ill
after
wishes?
After drinking so many glasses of Jarapiga, could be dangerous.
Careful. Yes, it could, couldn't it? But that's such a good resource, Portugal Decoded. That's going into the chat as well there. Oh, I forgot to play the little video. We have our own video, don't we? That you sent to me as well.
Yes.
And then we'll get to the first of the questions soon after. This is what we're all about here this morning. Let me just press play on the vid.
No dia de São Martinho vai a adega e prova o vinho.
It's the time of San Martino, and to trying the wine, right? Get to the cellar and try the wine.
Yes, so this is my friend Annie Hamilton Gibney, and we recorded this video here in the square last year. And this is the Portuguese saying, no dia de São Martinho, vai à adega e prova o vinho. So on St. Martin's Day, go to the winery and taste the wine.
Very good. One more time then.
No dia de São Martinho, vai à adega e prova o vinho.
And am I right in thinking that's the sort of confidence people get by learning with you? I mean, she's loving it, isn't she?
Yes. And she speaks Portuguese quite well now. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so any questions you've got about Magusto, about this time, this San Martino time of year? Where, of course,
the legend of São Martinho. I can read it for you in Portuguese,
yes,
and it's a Portuguese lesson.
Yes, because it is a really good parable, isn't it? The whole point of San Martino. Let's not forget that, and the charity of Saint Martin. So please, yes, do go ahead.
Okay, so Lenda de São Martinho. Segundo reza a lenda, num dia frio e tempestuoso de outono, um soldado romano de nome Martinho percorria o seu caminho montado a cavalo quando deparou com um mendigo cheio de fome e frio. O soldado, conhecido pela sua generosidade, tirou a capa que envergava e com a espada cortou-a ao meio, cobrindo o mendigo com uma das partes. Mais adiante, encontrou outro pobre homem cheio de frio e ofereceu-lhe a outra metade. Sem capa, Martinho continuou a sua viagem ao frio e ao vento, quando de repente e como por milagre, o céu se abriu, afastando a tempestade. Os raios de sol começaram a aquecer a terra e o bom tempo prolongou-se por cerca de 3 dias. Desde essa altura, todos os anos, por volta do dia 11 de novembro, surgem esses dias de calor a que se passou a chamar Verão de São Martinho.
Wonderful. Yes. And the weather connection there, of course, there's a lot in there, isn't there? There's a lot in there. So
Yes.
would you care to give us a translation and we can pick up on some of the themes there?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So-
It's really lovely to hear you read in Portuguese.
So, legend of Saint Martin. According to the legend, on a cold and stormy autumn day, a Roman soldier called Martin was riding his horse when he came across a beggar who was hungry and cold.
So
The soldier-
fome e frio, right? With fome we got in there. Yes.
Yes. Cheio de fome. We say cheio de fome, full of hunger. Cheio de fome.
Great
Cheio
phrase.
de fome
Yes.
e frio. So, quite hungry. Cheio de fome e frio. So, who was hungry and cold. The soldier, known for his generosity, took off the cloak he was wearing and with his sword cut it in half, covering the beggar with one part. Further on, he found another poor man who was freezing to death and offered him the other half. Without a cloak, Martin continued his journey in the cold and wind when suddenly, and as if by miracle, the sky opened up, driving away the storm. The sun's rays began to warm the earth, and the good weather lasted for about 3 days. Since then, every year, around November the 11th, those days of warmth appear, which came to be called Saint Martin's Summer, Verão de São Martinho.
So true. It actually happened. I met with Sarah Davey of Spartan FX for lunch yesterday, and it was the most beautiful day on the beach here at São Martinho. São Martinho de Porto, the town of
São
the saint.
Martinho.
And it's actually happening this year, which is lovely that we have got this late São Martinho summer. So and it's really lovely when that happens, isn't it? That it's the story comes alive in the remembrance and the climate reflected in the climate there. So I'm just trying to find this lovely picture, and she sent me one of me sat on the wall like an old bloke at the seaside. I'm not going to show that one. I'm going to share this one on the screen with you in just a moment. But the weather was fantastic. Shout out to Boca do Mar, lovely bit. I think you might have liked the lunch, Filomena. A lovely bit of sea bass. Yes, a sea bass loin with a mash of pumpkin and some beautiful vegetables. Both chose that. Nice, crisp glass of white. Very grapey it was too. And a beautiful, beautiful lunchtime to be had. So that San Martino vibe in the name of the town and the weather was enjoyed yesterday. And here it is. Here's the documentary evidence. Definitely one of the days of sunshine here in Portugal. Actually, it felt brighter and warmer than that. But that looks like a shot from the summer, doesn't it? Rather than November.
Yeah.
Here in Europe, which is fantastic.
Nice picture. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, really lovely weather. And I hope it will continue for a few days. Now, for some reason as well, good morning to you, Anna, Sweden, Portugal, boa sexta-feira from Quarteira. Let's practice Portuguese. Yeah, vamos embora. With the Portuguese here, and Lord and Lady Travanca also in this morning. They're having a great time in Gulgan. Let's play a little bit.
Yeah, in Gulgan, yes.
Yes, well, I've got some footage from you there, Barak, as well. Thank you. Now, Antonio thinks that the the Saint Martin was a bit of a naughty saint for some reason. Why would he say that, I wonder? Is it because he likes taking his clothes off? Yeah, first chance he had to take his cape off and slash it in half with his sword. There he was.
My kind of saint.
He's nuts related. I don't know. I'm not sure what the why you think that, Antonio. Do let us know in the chat there. And yes, I think Vai Adega, Mr. S wanted to know a little bit more about that. Is that what she said? It is what she said.
Vai Adega. Vai Adega. But if you speak quicker, then it's vai adega. Vai adega e prova o vinho. Yeah. So because both A's, then you pronounce the A's just as if they were one. So vai adega, vai adega.
Yeah,
but it's vai adega. Yes.
Go to the wine cellar there, Mr. S. A keen student like James is as well. And just another greeting coming in for you. Mike and Karen, pleased to see you as well as Antonio Ofieye. Bon dia, Gumpers. Hola, Filomena from Mike and Karen there. They have the chestnut sellers, I think, have a great habit of parking in the middle of blind turns. Oh, people have. To collect chestnuts from Mountain Road. Slow down, Pete, and it won't be such a problem.
Yes, of course. The problem is that he drives too fast.
I've heard this. Excellent. So where's this question from James then? We'll come back to any questions you've got about Magusto, about Martinho, about Jarapiga. I don't think we've talked enough about Jarapiga yet. And also
Fundão. You were asking about Fundão.
Yes.
In Fundão, the main product is cherries, and on the 10th of June every year, the 10th of June, you should visit around the 10th of June, the weekend around the 10th of June every year. You should visit Fundão and go to the festival, to the cherry festival, because in Alcongosta is a very small village right outside Fundão, and they do a fantastic festival for the cherries in June. So
very good,
very nice. You can find everything from cherry liqueur, cherry jam, cherry cake, cherries, everything from cherries.
Like literally with a cherry on top, or even inside. Now, I do have to ask you if this is an act of sacrilege, or if it's actually okay. We were treated to this by our Airbnb hosts on arrival. They said, we'll have some delicious for you. Do you approve of this, Filomena, the pastel de nata with cherries in?
Yeah, this is one of them that you can find in Alcongosta. Yes. You can find those pastel de nata de cereja also in Alcongosta on those days, the cherry festival.
I just wondered if this divided people. It's like, you shouldn't really mess with that. But there will be other cherry confections available, of course, as well. But that's what they've chosen to do there. A cherry-flavored, cherry-inspired pastel de nata. And what a market, Filomena. The Monday market in Fundão is incredible. Mm-hmm. It was very quiet. We had a lovely weekend there, wandering around on the Sunday, very peaceful. And then Monday morning, the whole town comes alive. There's the market inside, there's the market outside, on the Praça there.
Yeah, Fundão is also a very nice city. Mm-hmm.
And it draws people. I think that's what's going on there, isn't it? It's a rural agricultural town or area, and everyone anyone comes in. And what I really liked about it, both on the Sunday and the Monday, I think after church, people are meeting for coffee. Yes. And I was in a cafe. And I smiled at a really well-dressed elderly gentleman. And I said, hola, bon dia. And he took my hand and shook my hand. And it was like he was the mayor or, a local dignitary. And he made me feel really welcome in his town as like an elder. And he really made an effort to dress up, I think, probably for church.
Yes, they do. They do dress up, especially if they go to church. But in that area of the country, in Covilhã, in Fundão, people dress up a lot more than, for example, here in Coimbra, because here we are more casual. But in Covilhã and in Fundão, well, you go even in let's say a normal weekday, and we meet people in the street that are very well dressed.
Yes, that's right, for the market on Monday. It was the same again.
They dress up. They really dress up more
Yeah.
than, for example, than in Coimbra.
Yeah, I noticed that. And the handshake though, it's like he got my hand and he put his other hand on top of my hand, and it wasn't like a cursory token shaking of the hand. It was a real connection.
Yes,
it was quite amazing. And
saying to you, you are very welcome here.
it was beautiful, a really, really lovely moment there. And then to see people in their finery visiting the market on Monday as well. That was a real standout part of the experience of visiting Fundão there. So excellent. Yeah, don't forget, pop that on your list as something to try when you're over that way. Okay, we've got James's question there. Thank you for that little trip back to Fundão. A very special weekend there. Thanks, Filomena. Filomena, could you please talk a bit about time? Wow, a philosophy lesson as well. Does it really exist? I think he's probably talking about vocabulary rather than philosophy. Specifically, the distinctions between the use of tempo and vez. Obrigado. Okay, and you do have some backup from your teaching assistant, Antonio, is here.
My excellent assistant. My excellent.
He really is.
É a minha vez, yes, it's my turn. De vez em quando, every now and then. That's fantastic. Yes, yes. So the word vez, as Antonio said, it can be in the sense of turn. So it's your time, so it's your turn. So, for example, the first time, the second time, you say a primeira vez, a segunda vez, etc. So, in that sense of the first time you did something, the second time, or you visited that town the second time. So, this is also a primeira vez, a segunda vez, like that. And then the word tempo. Tempo is either the weather. It can be the word weather, because you can say hoje está bom tempo. Today it's good weather. So tempo, it can be weather, or tempo can be in the sense of a period of time. So you can say quanto tempo demoras, how long do you take? So quanto tempo is literally how much time. So this expression of quanto tempo referring to a period of time, right? So tempo. So yes, and vez is those expressions that you have to in a foreign language, as you know, there are some expressions that you can't always translate word by word. And these expressions, like these, é a minha vez, or a senha da vez, so the ticket that you take for you to have a number, right? At the groceries, or at the butchers, or any shops that you go and you take the ticket. That is uma senha de vez. So a ticket for your turn, right? To know when your turn comes. So that is vez. You also have the expression às vezes, literally at times, meaning sometimes, right?
Yes.
Às
Okay,
vezes.
Yeah.
Às vezes. So at times, sometimes. So sometimes you translate vez as time, sometimes you translate as turn, and you have to learn these expressions, like é a minha vez, like Antonio said, it's my turn. You don't say é o meu tempo. You say é a minha vez.
That would mean something like, it's my time, or my time has come, isn't it?
Yes, my time. Yes, it's my time now. My era, right? Yes.
Yeah, sort of thing Donald Trump might say at the moment. Although he would say it's my turn and my time. I do the best times. Thank you. Excuse me. Right, Jana?
Yes, but the word tempo is to do with a length of time, a period of time. It's more to do with a period of time. Tempo. Yes. Or the weather. It can be hoje está bom tempo, for example, or como está o tempo. How is the weather? Como está o tempo?
Yeah, and in the British obsessed mind of weather, That's a nice thing to be able to add, isn't it? After that moment, you know, tudo bem, muito bem, obrigado, contigo. And they say, bom tempo hoje.
Hoje está bom tempo.
Yes, that's great. I'm going to start using that. Thank you very much. That's really helpful. And then, of course, another thing that comes to mind with veg is how a story can begin, right? This is
Era uma vez, yes. Once upon a time, but we say it was one time, right?
Yeah.
So era uma vez.
For the storyteller in all of us, there was one. Gather round and hear my tale. Era uma vez. Yes.
Era uma vez. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, excellent. I hope that answers your question there.
Yeah.
James, I think
yes, because vez is always to do with a very like a turn, right? So it's just a one-off. It's just that moment. It's just that moment. It's your moment. It's the moment for you to go to the counter. So it's your moment.
Sometimes that's a big moment in Portugal, isn't it? When you've been waiting there a little while.
But tempo is more to do with this period of time.
So you might say if there's some confusion at the counter, which there sometimes is, and there's
you can say eu estou aqui há muito tempo. Estou aqui há muito tempo. I've been here for a long time.
And it's my turn. What is the meu vez?
É a minha vez. É a minha vez. Estou aqui há muito tempo. É a minha vez.
There you go. It's that fight for your right to, not party exactly, but São Martinho style, but also to get your coffee in the morning. That's really good, really helpful. Thanks, James. Great question. Antonio, the connection between São Martinho and chestnuts has roots in the All Saints' Day celebrations on November the 1st. So a continuation of that and a portent for good weather as well, which is excellent. Yes, Adega, of course, winery, wine cellar. Thank you, Antonio F. Yes, and this Adega swallowed, just like the chestnuts and the Xerapiga there. Historically, communities in northern Portugal would light bonfires and feast on chestnuts to honor their ancestors. Is that like saying all your ancestors are nuts? Mine are. I'll just speak personally on that. Health and safety gone mad. They banned the fire we had here, but thankfully many local villages ignore it anyway. Well done, local villages. Keep up the good work. And another reason why the accents are your friend. Why I love accent marks. Believing the spirits of the deceased join them to feel the warmth of the flames and partake in the offerings. That's a lovely thought, isn't it? A lovely idea. Cherry pizza, we forgot.
Why not?
You know what? I mean, I think apart from pineapple, Portugal was the first place I had a fruit pizza, and it was apricot, I think. Here in São Martinho de Porto, it was quite unusual for that to arrive on the table. The family were a little bit shocked, but we tucked in anyway. I see it, but I don't hear it. Filomena, explain why, says Mr.
Yes.
Keen
Vai Adega.
Great student. In spoken Portuguese, it's common to miss an A when two of them show up in a row like that.
That's right.
Because it might almost disappear, turning into Adega. Thank you very much.
Once again, Antonio, excellent explanation.
He's amazing, isn't he? And thank you for your messages recently. Last night, in fact, my DM over there on the Portugal Club. I'll take care of that, Antonio. Thanks for that. The cherry cake looks amazing. It's not just a cake, it's a pastel de nata. I make cherry chocolate. Ooh. And it sounds awful, but it's like, no, don't mind that combination at all, cherry and chocolate. Pete.
Well, I have, when I go, sorry to interrupt, but speaking of cherries and chocolate, when I go to the cherry festival, I always have cherry and chocolate.
Yes.
Because there is a little stall there that they sell espetadas, you know, espetada.
A kebab, a skewer.
A kebab of cherry. So it's the cherry on a stick, the cherries on a stick, and then they are covered in chocolate from a fountain, a chocolate fondue.
Stop it. That sounds delicious.
So I always have one of those. I never miss every year. I always have a chocolate espetada.
Very good. Good for you. Something to look forward to there in Fundão. I nearly said Golgan. And I think that's what Barak means here. They had those in, not in Dolgan, but Golga.
Golgan.
Golga. Let's have a look at some footage from there, because you have led legendary visits to Golga, of course, haven't you? And I remember the anecdotes of you in a very busy town, and you have your gaggle of people who are with you on one of your trips for Brits.
And
other nationalities can apply.
And I had lunch with Barack and Michelle last Saturday. We had lunch there as well. Yeah,
you can always get a table, can't you? Wherever you go in the country, I've seen it with my own eyes. You can make extraordinary things happen when you're doing trips for people. So let's have a look at some of your footage that you very kindly sent in here, Barack. Thank you very much. Oh my word, don't they look dashing, Filomena?
Lovely, lovely. Yes.
For a moment, I wanted to be whipped up on horseback and taken away by them. They look so good, don't they? Those outfits are fantastic, really good. Your other footage there, Barack, I think it's in the wrong orientation for me to play on. It'll come out sideways on the screen, but I'll stitch those all together and I'll put them out on Good Morning Portugal channel so that people can get a sense of what's going on there. But what an atmosphere, Filomena! It's
I always love going there. Yeah.
And a week-long festivity at the very least, right? 2 weekends and the whole week.
11 days.
Fantastic! I bet people are having a great time. I think Barack is as well. Oh, a bit of daylight footage here as well.
Yes, I sent you this video. Yeah,
that was from you. That one was it? Because we had that on the picture.
And even the children. Have you seen at the end the children riding horses? They do that naturally, you know, as if they were born on the horse.
Yeah, I mean, she looked so comfortable, didn't she? That young lady.
Yeah, they are quite comfortable.
Superb. So what a great event that is. And you may well, of course, do another trip there another time. So make sure you are known to Filomena for her wonderful trips. Have you got anything else planned at the moment? Is there anything else in the diary?
No, I just have some plans for myself. I'm going to the Azores again.
Are you? Good for you.
In December, yes.
Yeah, and there was talk last night. Jerry was talking about a gathering at Battaglia.
Battaglia in February.
I think you're going to be involved in that. I'll pop along to that as well. So Battaglia, maybe make a sort of loose mental note of that, everybody. If you want to have a bit
February.
of February in Battaglia. Okay, let's see. I think there are some other questions here coming in. Mr. S and James have questions possibly for you about your name and how it is pronounced in Portuguese. Filomena. Now, foreigners do make a mess of your name, don't they?
Yes, I'm used to it. I'm used to it because the French, for example, they call me Filomena.
Yes, yeah.
The British usually call me Filomena.
Yes. And how should it be?
And Filomena, yes. And she's right. The accent is on M-E, Filomena.
Filomena. Tempo is a synonym for time and weather, as you said as well.
Again, excellent, Antonio.
He's very, very good, isn't he? And queria explicar mesoclise. Yes, that came up earlier on. What is mesoclise? Pode dizer, Beaja? He's very old-fashioned, isn't he, Mr. S?
Yes. Mesoclise.
Yes, what is
my
that?
God. She got me on that. Or he got me on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Explicasses a mesoclise, por favor. I don't know. I have I don't know.
Right.
Mesoclise. Is it the two A's together? I don't know.
Okay, I mean, a bit more explanation on that. Obrigado, Filomena. It is nearly always. It depends, and one must simply learn by listening and speaking. It's true, isn't it? Right. What else are you going to do with your time? Come on. So the simplest is essentially turn versus time. Yeah, keep
Yes.
practicing.
In a nutshell, yes. It's a turn and time.
Very good. Mr. S has seen horse dancing in Mexico. Sounds like a nice memory, that. Aviva here with us as well. Do you sometimes have questions for Filomena? Hola todos, bon fin semana. Very good. And Nunu's popped in as well. Look, good morning, everyone. It's not Nunu, it's Amelia from Insurance.
Amelia. I guess Amelia.
Yes, not Amalia, but Amelia.
Amelia.
From Insurance, just to wish all of you a lovely Friday and to enjoy the São Martinho sunny day. Thank you very much for that. Now, what is he talking about? He's trying again here.
Vestir-me-ei. Ok. Vestir-me-ei. É a colocação do pronome no meio do verbo. Okay, thank you, António.
Is that any clearer? Is there anything else we can say about that?
Yeah, it's in the future. The example was what was the example? Vestir-me-ei, I think it was.
There you go.
Vestir-me-ei. So because the future is okay, you start with the infinitive of the verb, right?
Yep.
Vestir, and then you add without this me in the middle. You add the ei for the future ending of the verb in the first person. So I will dress. So vestirei.
Yes.
But if you want to say I will get dressed, I will dress myself, then you need this reflexive pronoun me.
Okay.
But this reflexive pronoun me, or any others that it could be te and etc., then you have to put this in the middle between the R, so the infinitive, between the R and the ending of the verb. You have to put, as you have seen there, you put an hyphen and then the article and then another hyphen and then the ending of the verb, the conjugation. So what can I say? If it's in the future, you have to insert the pronoun between the ending of the infinitive and the ending of the verb conjugated in the future. For example, eu vestir-me-ei, tu vestir-te-á, ele vestir-se-á, etc. So
yes,
to put the pronoun between the root, the infinitive, and then
and the pronoun.
the
Right,
ending.
very good. And what's the connection here? Is the mesoclise, is that the what it's called?
It's the name. It's the name of that rule of
Yes,
that of placing the
grammatical,
pronoun. Yes, it's just the grammatical name of the placing.
Well, he's too hard. He shouldn't give yourself a hard time. I think you're a great
Well,
student.
it
Mr.
is
Ed.
too hard for him, and it is too hard for everyone. That's why we don't we don't usually use the future like that, unless I know that in the area that he lives, people speak in a more traditional way. I know that. Maybe, but yes. So instead of vestir-me-ei, yes, vou-me vestir. That's right. So the Portuguese usually try to simplify. Who would know?
What? That's something you don't hear very often.
No. So the Portuguese try to make it simple because that is very hard. It is very hard.
Okay.
So instead of saying vestir-me-ei, at least, I mean, here, and I speak for myself, here in the area of Coimbra, nobody would say, eu vestir-me-ei amanhã com, you know. So,
sounds like Mr. S speaks like the royal family that you mentioned.
maybe the royal family, maybe
it's like
they
a
will
royal proclamation.
Vestir-me-ei.
Yes, but then again,
de azul ou de vermelho.
yes, royal families don't dress themselves either, do they? So they're not unlike
probably they have lots of maids to dress them, but engordum.
So I fatten myself.
Yes, I fatten
bloating
myself.
up.
I do. Yes, that's true. I do fatten myself.
Bloat. Okay, thank you, Pete.
But in the future, it would be engordar-me-ei. Engordar-me-ei in the future.
Okay.
Now, this is something to do with the future. And as I said before many times, the future tense, futuro, the real futuro do indicativo, we usually just use it in written language. So just on a newspaper, you might read that, or in a book, in literature, in a poem, but in everyday life, engordar-me-ei, that's right. In everyday life situations and in spoken language, we don't usually use this future tense. We use a lot more the verb ir, so the verb to go. Eu vou, tu vais, ele vai, nós vamos, eles vão. And then any verb in the infinitive, and you don't even have to know the endings. So there are no endings to learn. So eu vou beber, tu vais beber, ele vai beber, nós vamos beber, eles vão beber. And you don't have to worry about any endings. It's just the verb to go that you have to know.
It sounds like Mr. S needs a session with you to calm him down a bit. The test, the simple test. He's worried about the A2, and it may be that there is a hack or a different turn of phrase that you could use. So thanks a lot for that.
But Mr. S, is Mr. S taking the test?
I believe so. Yeah, it would appear.
Yes,
he's working towards
but
it. Anyway.
don't worry. The test requires that. I know that. Well, I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, of course, you have to learn the tenses, but in the test there is nothing there for you to, for example, do this exercise and rewrite this using the. No, you don't have that kind of exercises on the test. What you have is usually multiple choice. You read a piece of text and then you choose what is the correct option. You have to write also, yes, but I mean, if you have to write, you can write using, for example, vou instead of the future. Yes. Me and I had passed the test. Well, but they didn't. I believe that they didn't do the SIPL. They passed the A1, A2 course, which is a bit different. It's a bit different.
99% chance of being right there. The Portuguese Nostradamus. I didn't know that. Have you got a new YouTube channel, the Portuguese Nostradamus? The Portuguese Nostradamus is famous for saying it depends. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. It depends.
It always depends. Even with the tempo and the turn, it depends. Tempo can be weather, can be time. It depends.
What a lovely way to be. What a lovely way to be. All this certainty in the world. It's all so black and white for people. And then here we are in Portugal. It depends.
And it depends.
Tranquilo. Right. Got a few things I want to talk to you about before we go. We've only got 6 minutes left. There was a lovely turn of phrase that came up last night, which was, may I pat your dog? Translates as, can I give your dog a party? Is that right? A festa?
Yes. Fazer festas ao cão.
Can I do a party on your dog? Right. That's disturbing when you hear it for the first time.
Yeah, fazer festas. Fazer festas or fazer festinhas. We usually say in an affectionate way, fazer festinhas. So
festinhas. Okay.
Fazer festinhas.
Make a fuss of, isn't it? Can I make a fuss of your dog, I suppose? Idiomatic.
Fazer festinhas. So yes.
Don't be alarmed then. If you've got a lovely dog and a Portuguese person comes up and wants to make a party on your dog, just say yes. It'll be fine. Okay, a lovely scheme. May I bring this to everybody's attention as well? You might want to add to this. This is something that Mrs. M received in the post. She asked for some of these free seeds. I mean, if I open the packet here, it's really, I mean, there's loads of them, loads of envelopes of rúcula, cidreira, ervas, feijão, tomilho, funcho, rúcula, tomate, I think that's echinacea, cosmos, that's a beautiful flower, isn't it? Cosmos flowers, calendula, and espinafres matador. Go to this website and you will be sent free seeds, as I understand it, in the way that Mrs. M was. So I wanted to make that clear to you. There you go. Germinar over there, germinar.pt, and you're going to get some free seeds. There's some aubergines, eggplant, whatever you want to call it. What a lovely project. Are you aware of this, Filomena?
No.
So it's just a bit of Portuguese generosity.
Well, Portuguese generosity is not, it's nothing new, right?
Exactly, absolutely right. And I think that there's not exactly a catch, but what's lovely about this is once you've grown and your plants have gone to seed, they ask you to send some seeds back. So it's like a seed saving scheme as well. So if you're a gardener or you want to start gardening, I'm sure Lee McGrady and Jace, Jazz would be very, and Matty would all be very appreciative of this as well. So there you go. Any happy homesteaders here this morning? Get your free seeds from germinar.pt right there. I'm really delighted to be able to share that with you this morning, as I am the God Squad tip of the day and a couple of 2 or 3 events to share with you. We've got the God Squad tip of the day, Filomena, last of our sitting exercises for the week. And I know you teach a lot, so you might like these. While you're sat there, you can do a bit of exercise between students with your feet slightly apart. Put your arms out forwards, slowly turn one way as far as you can. Oh, okay, that's a great exercise, isn't it? A little twist to change things. Slowly turn one way as far as you can, keeping everything below the waist still. And I'm being preempted. Oh, do behave, Carl. Then what? Then back and turn the other way. We're ahead of you. Repeat until you feel a little fatigue in your muscles. To help you hold the correct posture, you can hold a stick between your hands as well. Be like a majorette. Very good. Or a bottle of Jarapiga. Even better. Much better. The Portuguese way. I hope the simple exercises from this week I'll continue with restful ones. Yeah, have a sip of Jarapiga and
also it's good also to exercise the muscle, right? Also,
can we have some Jarapiga yoga? This is a thing. We might be embarking on a new discipline here of Portuguese drinking exercises. Very good. Okay, so thanks for that, Coach Turner. And in the last couple of minutes, of course, we've got some Bairradian activity. Turns out my friends at the Little Cellar Wine Company, I'm trying to get them to come on board as a resident wine critic. They're in the Bairrada, and there's a lovely article there, Jarapiga, Portugal's best kept wine secret. So I'll put the link to that so you can find out even more about Jarapiga this morning. That's going into the chat now. And we'll finish with a little brace of events happening in the Bairrada. In Ancash this weekend, get yourselves along to this fun 4-day festival in Ancash. Bands, booze, snacks, and castañas, of course. So they're there with the São Martinho vibe. Don't forget to take a cape and a sword so that you can give half of your cape to anyone who's less fortunate than yourself, and you may even become a saint. Traditional folk dancing and singing in Mamarossa. That looks like a great poster. November 9th, we will meet in Mamarossa for another folkloric knees up. Fantastic. From 4 PM. They're an early start by Portuguese standards. And second edition of the Marquês de Marialva. He was a character, wasn't he? The Rally in Cantanhede in his name after the huge success of the first edition. This time it's even bigger with the rakish Marquês de Marialva there in the Bairrada district. And finally, thanks for these, all available on the Gumper map. Thanks to Andy and Sarah, who was here before, who started that for us. Festa das Vindimas, the Harvest Festival in Samel Bairrada. 5 courses. Look at this, Filomena. 5 courses, including drinks, live entertainment. How much is that going to be? 100 euros? 50 euros, 25, 20, no, 15 euros, folks, for 5 courses with some entertainment as well. There's more of that generosity that you were talking about before. That's a great weekend lining up in the Bairrada. So last word to you, Filomena. That hour has absolutely flown by. Always great fun talking to you. Your video for the Expats Portugal session last night will be on Sunday, out at 6 o'clock. Last word to you then as we go into our Bom Fim de Semana.
Bom fim de semana. Bom São Martinho e até ao próximo programa, até dezembro.
Wonderful. It's been a weird old week, let's face it. I think a lot of people are a bit tired and, whatever their political persuasion, it's been quite the energy, hasn't it, this week? And perhaps a nice leisurely weekend is something we might all enjoy. So, until next time, até próxima. Muito obrigado.
Beijinhos.
Ciao. You've all done very, very well. Take care and bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.